Family Guy is definitely one of those shows that has had more roller coaster runs than you would probably say The Simpsons had. I mean, The Simpsons has had times in their long history where they're really strong at first, then they have that little bit of a downward spiral, but then they find their way back up. Family Guy, it literally does feel like a roller coaster. There'll be a point where the show goes to a period of some bad episodes, and then all of a sudden there'll be that brief little bright spot where you might get something good out of them, and then all of a sudden they'll go back to just being the crap again. It's more scattered and not consistent, unlike The Simpsons. One of the greatest episodes that they've ever done was Road to the North Pole, which is a Family Guy episode that aired as their 1-hour Christmas special on December 12, 2010, coincidentally 3 days after Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas. So that was a great week for holiday specials in general, holiday episodes. But this is, of course, another continuation of the Brian and Stewie Road to episodes that have become synonymous with Family Guy in general, and are usually the best episodes of the show. And this one is definitely one of their stronger outings, no question about it. In fact, this one is one of the stronger, if not the strongest Family Guy episodes they've done since they came back nearly 20 years ago. In fact, this year, 20 years ago, actually, because it is 20 years after they came back from cancellation. But in this episode, Stewie and Brian go on an adventure to the North Pole in an attempt to kill Santa Claus. They eventually discover a dreary, polluting factory full of disease-ridden elves and carnivorous feral reindeer, along with a sickly, exhausted Santa who begs to be killed. Stewie and Brian take pity on him, however, and decide to fulfill Christmas by delivering gifts to the entire globe, albeit unsuccessfully. And by unsuccessfully, I mean they go to one house and they spend way too much time in there and end up nearly killing every single person in the family and leaving the daughter traumatized by seeing these two people who are supposed to be Santa Claus ruining her childhood innocence. I mean, it's something where it's just like, yeah, this one I just love the fact that this episode, it does the polar opposite of a special I'm going to talk about tomorrow, where you think they're going to go and save Christmas and it's going to be a magical thing, and then it's just like, nope, it's not in this world. It is. And while Family Guy has definitely like I said, Family Guy has hit where The Simpsons had hit deep into the run, where a lot of episodes that had aired that aren't as strong as the earlier seasons. Whenever Family Guy does an episode where Brian and Stewie are the main plots, it's almost always great. This episode here is no exception. This is one of their better episodes, doing a great job of doing what Family Guy does best, providing raunchy and over-the-top comedy, dark moments, just some really good funny moments, but yet they also manage to pull an emotional impact towards you near the end. And considering how just dark and twisted that it gets in that second act, where they go to the house and they just completely ruin this family's life in general, to all of a sudden go to a 360 in the third act and to have this surprisingly effective emotional moment and pretty good message about what Christmas has become and how it's killing Santa Claus. I mean, I was actually really surprised at how well they paid off on that. It was just so well done. You also have a lot of great funny cutaway gags, including Winnie the Pooh, the star of David Boreanaz from Angel and Bones, and you also have Seth MacFarlane's actual father narrating the story, which I think are nice little touches overall. And the songs in here are really good. They have a lot. The two songs in here are really well done. The opening song in particular, where it's them singing about what they want for Christmas, is very well done. And you can just Family Guy usually is very good when it comes to musical numbers, and this is definitely no exception to that rule. But yeah, this is a really, really good episode. And like I said, it came out the same weekend as the Community Christmas episode, but that was a great week to watch these great Christmas episodes, because you got not one but two classic episodes in the span of 3 days, and it's just it really is one of their best episodes they've ever put out. It's an episode that is very hard to top, and not much more to say about this one. It's a way it brought back with Family Guy what made that show so great in its early seasons, and did a very good job of trying to recapture that magic in this particular episode. And it's just one where it's another one of those ones where, like, every Christmas, that's one I always got to watch. It's one of my favorite episodes the show has ever done. Road to the North Pole.